Today, I'm joined by a two-time best-selling author, an award-winning speaker-producer, a media personality, an artist. You grew up in Stanford, which is very important on the Mike Squires and Friends podcast, personally. Born in Berlin.
Yes.
Grew up on Con Ave.
Yep.
I did my homework.
Oh, you did your homework, Mike.
So, Anna Nyakana, welcome to the Mike Squires and Friends podcast.
Thank you. Hey, it's an honor. Shout out to Stanford 203. You know what it is.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast. One thing that there's not enough female representation on the Mike Squires and Friends podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there's too many men on the Mike Squires and Friends podcast. So I'm happy to have you here today. And
thank you.
Yeah, how would you explain yourself to somebody who's never heard of you before?
Mother of dragons. I am someone who chose to take her life in her hands, and regardless of my zip code or my environment, to create the life that I've always wanted, that I wish I had. You get tired of blowing out those candles on your birthday cake and nothing ever happening, nothing ever changing, and a dream never manifesting itself from a cloud and just landing right in front of your feet. Right? I kind of got the cheat code early in life, like something just locked in with me spiritually. And I was like, I've got it. This is the blueprint. Let me create the life as I see it, as I deserve. And I birthed the nation, Zuri Nation.
Yeah, so you just locked in, and I know that feeling because it's something that kind of clicks in you where you take your life into your own hands.
Exactly.
Yeah, what was one of the first instances of you doing that?
Oh, there's so many. So I grew up, I have a musical background, right? I was signed back in the day. Music was always my path forward. It was a way also as not being an American, and I had to learn English for 5 to 8 years to really become fluent in this way. And music gave me that outlet. It gave me that creative ability. I wasn't stuck in my head, worrying about if I was enunciating or pronouncing words correctly, and I could express myself. Because, kids were kind of mean back in the day. When you don't look like them or sound like them, you dress differently from them. And I was a tomboy, too. I was rough and tough. I have 2 older brothers. So for me, I wasn't the average kid, the average girl. So I really claimed myself very early in life and just putting myself on the stage. And even though they were like, oh, Anna's got the solo again, or she's got the star leading role in the musical again, I just knew that I had a light on me and that I was meant to shine. And that continued from my adolescence into my adulthood. And really pivotally for me, 5 years ago in 2020, I did an interview on SiriusXM on the Karen Hunter Show, talking all things Zuri. The first book, Zuri and the Pharaoh's Throne, had just become a bestseller. And I was out there talking. And then the next day, I went right back to my gray cubicle in corporate America. And I was like, ooh, my soul was burning. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not like the rest of y'all. I'm here to make an impact in this world. I'm putting my 2 weeks in. I'm out.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mike Squires and Friends podcast. You can support by subscribing on YouTube or downloading on your preferred podcast platform. And definitely go do that because it helps us grow and I can have more incredible guests on the podcast. The Mike Squires and Friends podcast is proudly sponsored by DistroKid. Looking to broaden your musical horizons as an artist? Discover DistroKid. With its smooth and rewarding music distribution platform, DistroKid offers unlimited uploads while ensuring artists retain 100% of their royalties and earnings. Join the community of over 1 million artists who trust DistroKid to distribute their music across major platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, and so many others. Having personally used DistroKid since 2018, I can attest to their superiority amongst distribution services. Collaborating with fellow artists has become effortless, especially with the ability to easily send splits of songs, streamlining the creative process. With the DistroKid app, accessing these benefits is now more convenient than ever. Safely sign up or log in with 2-factor authentication, upload releases on the fly, monitor earnings, and withdraw funds from your DistroKid bank. Stay updated on royalties through push notifications, effortlessly share hyperfollow links, manage account details seamlessly, and track streaming stats from Spotify and Apple. Additionally, explore Mixia for professional-grade mastering, DistroVid for music video distribution, and Instant Share for secure file sharing with collaborators, producers, and more. The DistroKid app is available on both iOS and Android. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play Store to revolutionize your music career. Visit distrokid.com/VIP/Mike Squires to get 30% off your first year membership. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Mike Squires and Friends. Yeah, nothing will make you feel aligned with your purpose than doing a job that you don't want to, because all you're going to be doing is thinking about what you actually want to be doing when you're in that job that you don't want to do.
Exactly. And some people, they have amazing careers that they're passionate about. That's what they're meant to do. They love waking up and putting in 80 hours a week and, dedicating their weekends and getting interrupted during dinner time. That wasn't for me. I was doing what I needed to do as a single mother, as the head of household, to provide for my kids, right? I have a bachelor's degree. So yeah, the digits were nice, bi-weekly payments were nice. Yet I knew that I had a higher calling on my life, that there was more that I was supposed to be doing, that the experiences I had in my childhood and really who it is that I've been formed to be as this world leader, and like my family really represents the United Nations. So I have all of these unique perspectives, and there's so much that I can actually become the solution to. There was no way I could keep clocking in. I couldn't do it anymore, Mike. I couldn't. I had to really choose myself. I had to claim myself, claim the space, and I haven't stopped.
Yeah, we have a lot to unravel here, because I want to try to, the podcast is only as long as it is, and you're just a multifaceted person.
Thank you. We'll do a part two.
But I'm going to hop in. I want to get right into the beginning.
Let's go.
The beginning for me is like, you were born in Berlin.
Yes.
How long are you there?
I was there for almost 8 years.
Okay. And what's something that you remember from being in Berlin, and, like maybe a memory that you cherish that might feel nostalgic or something to you?
Man, Germany, Berlin was such a mecca of arts and creativity. We'd have break dancers right outside of our apartment. We'd have people tagging in the tunnels. And they kind of have this unspoken rule that when you tag any sort of graffiti, it's not allowed to be painted over. It's considered artwork. It's considered something culturally to preserve. So I thought that was really dope.
That is really cool. So the first 8 years of your life, are you speaking German?
I'm speaking German. My German is a little rough now, but I do speak fluent Russian still. That's my second and first language at the same time.
That's insane. So then at 8 years old, you come to Connecticut.
Came to Stanford.
And then, are you learning English then?
I'm learning English then. So shout out to Davenport Ridge, my ESL teacher, although she kind of gave up on me. She's like, man, you and this harsh Russian accent and all this. I don't think you're going to be a great English speaker, because I would be speaking backwards. I had to teach myself and coach myself how to constantly, even right now, I'm translating in my mind to make sure I don't say certain words in reverse order, as is the English standard. So I was learning English, and it took me a while, so much to the point that my teacher gave up on me. I actually swiped a dictionary. Sorry, Davenport. I swiped a dictionary that I found in a dusty corner in some classroom. It was a Merriam-Webster dictionary, one of those pocket editions, and I took it home. And every single day I underlined a word and I wrote it on my wrist, on my hand, and I would teach myself English every single day, one word at a time.
Yeah, well, listening to you talk now, I think you speak better than me, and I've been here my entire life, But what was one of the struggles of coming over and being the foreign exchange student, basically, right?
Exactly. I think it was the fact that I knew myself. Right? I have an understanding of myself culturally. My father's family's from Uganda, southwestern Uganda, to be specific. So shout out to all my Banyankoli. And when you have an understanding of who you are and where you come from, you have a rich history, you have so much ancestral power to draw on. That's what really allowed me to stay whole and not kind of get ripped apart in this matrix that I call that's over here in the West, of kind of people putting you in buckets and categories and telling you can only do this and be this and you can only do that, or this is all you can attain because you look like this or sound like this, or because you come from poverty. We were living a great life in Germany. We were it was a utopia, because Germany takes care of its citizens. Free education all the way through collegiate level, right? Free health care. They're giving your family a check every single month if you have children. It's not Section 8. This is not welfare. They just want to make sure that their citizens, that their people have what they need to live a high quality life and then continue to contribute to the country. So I come from that to the projects, to Con Ave, and not Connecticut Avenue, which it is now, right? Because they bulldozed my my projects. It doesn't exist anymore. There's fancy apartments there now, right?
Yeah,
I've seen.
I've seen it before, and I know where it's at now.
Oh yeah. They left kind of the top of the hill alone. Yeah, the bottom of the hill.
But the bottom of the hill, when you're going around the corner on Stillwater, it's that whole area,
exactly.
It's redone.
Well, because it sits on the golf course across the street, and we used to sneak into that golf course too. Funny story.
They have a good chicken parm over there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we used to sneak in there, my brothers and I, and some of my friends from the block, and we used to go and find and collect the golf balls, and we would bring it back to the clubhouse, and they would give us a whole tray of curly fries and Shirley Temples. That was the life. You know what I mean?
I used to shoot Do you know Alex Ruffin?
I do.
So I used to do a ton of Alex Ruffin's music videos, and we shot over there. But he's like an example of somebody too who I think is like doing great things in the community. And like, you know, I've seen him. I haven't spoke to him in a long time, but I follow him still. You know, so I see like his journey of like, I don't know if you've seen like the jackets and stuff that he makes.
No, I haven't seen the jackets.
So he makes like these very cool like. And I got to pull it back to you because we have a lot to cover, but I just want to give Alex a shout out. But
of course,
he'll like he'll take like a Huskies and like a Whalers jacket and he'll like put them together. Like, so I don't know exactly how he does it, but they're really cool.
So it's like
jackets.
a Mod Podge.
Yeah, but he does it not just for Connecticut, for like a ton of places, but. No, that's like when I think of Connecticut Avenue, I think of my early days shooting music videos over there.
Well, you know I love my jackets, and shout out to YOP because this is a Connecticut brand. You know?
Yeah, no, when you came in, I complimented you on it, and you were like, "Oh, Connecticut." I was like, "That's crazy."
Yeah.
No, it's awesome.
We have to support each other.
Yeah. So, what's something that you learned growing up on Con Ave?
Oof. I learned that there's beauty in pain. I learned to look beyond my environment because we had really limited resources. Our school was kind of failing too. We didn't go on any field trips or anything like the modern schools. And like my kids every week, I feel like I'm signing a field trip, form. Yet I learned to find the beauty, and not necessarily that it was an escapism. Yeah, I was always outside playing with my friends because we didn't have as many distractions as there is now. We had a few channels on cable, and I had that antenna with like the aluminum foil. We didn't have like fancy cable, so we only had a few channels anyway. And I found that there was always a way to find something in common with another child. Like all of the kids that I grew up with, even if they were originally from Connecticut, their families had a cultural background, and there was a unity in the struggle. There was a unity in us not being the favorite bus stop in the town. There's a unity in us protecting each other and looking out for each other, whether it was, hearing gunshots at night or trying to help someone stop someone from breaking into one of our parents' cars again and like stealing knickknacks because of a sense of desperation and scarcity, right? There was a lot put against us. And coming from the utopia that I mentioned, I saw it very clearly for what it was.
Versus
other kids and other families kind of getting stuck in those loops. Generationally, you kind of become numb to it. You think this is life. And I'm like, this is not life. There's more out there. There's more that's possible for you. Yet you have to choose that for yourself.
Yeah, you had a very early on like worldly perspective.
Right.
And so I'm thinking of your timeline now. So I know that you started music at 6. So that would be when you were still in Berlin.
Yes, I was singing in the streets, tearing it down.
Yeah, so okay. So let's talk a little bit about your music journey right now and like focus on that. So you start music at 6, singing on the streets.
Singing on the streets.
In German?
In German,
German. And then how does that journey continue, when you get to the States?
I was singing on the block in Con Ave. You can ask people who grew up with me or went to camp with me. I used to sing for 25 cents on the corner. Like anything that you wanted to hear. Monica, Brandy, Mariah Carey, Faith Hill. I went country. Whatever you wanted to do. And then that was like just enough to get a 75 cents Luigi Icy from the ice cream truck that would come to the bottom of the hill. It wouldn't always go to the top, but it always came to the bottom.
What's something that you learned from like, your experience of like singing and being an artist?
I learned that I could move the spirit of an individual, right? I could give their soul comfort. I can bring them back to a beautiful memory regardless of what it is that they were going through. Music just has this power to heal. It has this power to unify. And it doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter what instrument you play. It doesn't matter even too much about the context when you're singing about something real, right? Like shout out to all the songwriters and all the producers. People are really crafting and just putting these beautiful arrangements together. The heartbeat is the first song, right? It's the first beat. And we all have that in common. So music always showed me that there was a way to bring that unity and that peace and just bring that beauty. It doesn't matter if there was a whole incident the night before and, someone got stabbed and someone's in the hospital now and this has happened. Someone can bring a boombox outside and you can have a whole block party to raise funds to help cover medical costs for their mom. And it's a beautiful moment. There's something powerful in the sounds that can resonate from an individual out into the ether and hit other individuals. It's a frequency. You know this. I'm not telling you anything different. I know your resume too, Mike.
I know. It's not just for me, but it's for the people out there too, And I think, something that's interesting is like, when you were making music, because we spoke right before this that you do everything kind of intentionally with intention, right? So it's like, when you felt like you were making music, who'd you feel like you were making it for?
At first, I was making it for myself. So I took up the clarinet in the 4th grade and I played that for 10 years. And then that led into piano, that led into classical violin, that led into almost everything that I play now. However, music gave me that outlet. So first I had to not just heal myself, but I had to also protect myself. I knew that there was something special about me. I knew that I had a very interesting way of speaking, of connecting with people. Even the way that I speak, the way that I resonate my voice, it hits people in a certain way because it's almost that I'm singing to you. I'm just singing to you in spoken word, right?
No, you're very charismatic too. And it's like even when we just like linked outside, I was just like, the vibes are good right off rip.
Oh, thank you.
And it's a commendable and important thing to do is like how you carry yourself, right?
Yes.
My bad. We got got our alarm going off. But no, it really is a commendable thing because how you carry yourself, how you walk in a room can set the tone for whatever you're doing.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So do you have an instance of like where you were going into a situation maybe where you're like, oh man, like this might be a tough one, but you just came into it with a great positive attitude and everything ended up being good?
Oh, absolutely. How much time do we have? Like, I don't think we have that much time. Yeah, as you mentioned, my resume is long. I've done a lot of things. I've also produced like large events. So I was called in to kind of be like a second hands-on producer for a huge event called Curl Fest, and we had it over in Randall's Island in New York. Now, I was called on just to kind of be like a secondary, like, okay, what do you need? And how I approach situations is I always ask, what is it that you need? How can I assist you, right? That way I can take whatever your vision is and bring it even higher. Because my energy is not on 100, it's definitely on 1,000. And just having that open communication, but that open heart and willingness, you really have to humble yourself. Like put that ego in check and swallow that pride, because it's not about, oh, I'm not being paid as much as this person, but I'm picking up all of their tasks and all of their deliverables. I just went in with an open spirit. Like, what do we have to get done? Next thing you know, I'm running the whole festival. I'm like checking in celebrities. I'm running on stage. I'm making sure this is set, that is set. I'm escorting people back and forth. I'm changing from my heels to my J's because now I'm running all over the festival. And this food vendor, doesn't have any more butter. And this person over here, and this hair vendor doesn't have any more, goodie bags. And we're chasing and we're doing what we have to do. And it was a phenomenal event. Huge, successful event. Shout out to Curl Fest. We're coming back next year in 2026.
Let's go. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And another thing that I've just learned over the years is sometimes people fall through the cracks. They quit, for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. But you started music at 6, and This Is Our Day.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, right?
Oh, you tapped into the soundtrack. This is our day for the world of Zuri, for the film. The World of Zuri.
But to me, and we're going to have to go into, okay, let's start right here, but then we're going to go into the Zuri universe.
Oh, let's go. It is a verse.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So talking about the song, you know what I mean? It's like, what inspired you? Because you're kind of doing every part of everything too. Like, I know that you even made the trailer for the book too.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? So let's just hop right into the universe and I guess how everything came to be.
So Zuri, she's the younger version of myself. She was that young girl who got off the plane in Germany with her family, 2 suitcases with all our belongings for a family of 5, and entering the world of the Western matrix and navigating and figuring out that I don't have to fit into this space. I can allow like my spirit to just permeate through, and I can carve out a space for myself. You know what? I'm gonna take all this land up. All of this is mine. I'm just gonna give all this love and energy. So Zuri is the younger version of myself times who I am now. So everything that I was, yet everything I also didn't know that I know now in one. She's just this fearless heroine. And writing books is not that different from writing music and writing songs. Zuri really is my longest song. And she's here to give everyone an understanding that you can be purposeful in your life. Zuri actually means beautiful purpose in Swahili. And she teaches kids to be solution-based versus looking at problems and thinking there's no way I can get over this obstacle. I'm stuck. My family's stuck. Woe is me. This is the end of the world. This is the only thing that, I have no resources. I don't know where the equity is. I have no options in life. Solution-based. Create the solution. Be the solution. Discover where the resources are. Take a shovel and dig that stuff out. Like, it's there. Trust me, they bury the equity on purpose. And most of this budgeted is for you, but they're not going to tell you, right? So here comes this fearless heroine. Her and her best friends, the Gonzalez twins, they're traveling back in time. Yay! Okay, let's go. I'm going to have to leave these books with you today, all right? So you can really read.
I'll keep them in the podcast set if you do.
Yeah, that would be a huge honor. Yeah. Thank you. Funny enough, 50% of my readers are actually adults.
I love that. You know what I mean? So I got so many questions. You know what I mean? So many questions. I think, I'm going to pull it back just a teeny bit and just like, what made you want to get into children's books?
I wanted to be that solution. I started thinking more and more. Once I was in corporate America, I walked away from the music industry. I closed the door on that. At that time, they really wanted me to sell my soul. And integrity is a non-negotiable for me. And I would not cross a certain line. So
we're going to talk about that next.
Oh, we can talk about that next. Yeah. Integrity is a non-negotiable, but for me, I wouldn't cross that line. And I said, you know what? This isn't what I thought it was going to be. Maybe I should have gone into Broadway, into theater. It was like one of two options. I had two opportunities. And I went into the music and entertainment industry, and I realized that wasn't the beast for me. I didn't think I could make the impact that I wanted to at that time. So I started a family, finished my degree, got into corporate America, and then slowly but surely got into that rat race, that 9-to-5 rat race, commuting in and just the day-to-day. Sure, I'm making memories, I'm raising my kids, I'm doing right by them. Yet there was this like incessant calling. That phone just wouldn't stop ringing. Like, I've given this analogy a few times, yet it's powerful, so I want to do it here as well. It's like, you can't keep sending God to voicemail. It's like, I know there's more that I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Eventually, that voicemail box is going to get full. And one day, I just picked that thing up, and I got my instructions. And my instructions were, because I also was a humanitarian throughout my entire childhood, I was always going on youth group trips and just international trips to feed the poor, to feed the hungry, to do healthcare clinics, to build churches, basketball courts, like whatever it is. And I always had my guitar with me, and I was playing music for the kids and giving my time in orphanages with like HIV positive kids and just keeping their spirit alive, and then playing football or soccer, they call it here, just giving of myself. So really, I didn't even have a plan during high school. And my guidance counselor told me my family wasn't poor enough for me to get a full ride to college, but I also wasn't academically scholarly enough to get a full ride to college, so I should write it off. So honestly, I was just going to join the Peace Corps, and then life kind of went where it ended up going anyway. Yet, bringing it back, Naya Zuri is the fulfillment of my love for the world and to impact the world in a creative way, and the solutions that I wish were in place in my adolescence growing up on Con Ave is the combination of that, giving children an understanding of where it is that we all come from, because we all do come from the same source. We may look much different now, yet we're all connected. And here in the West, I just couldn't understand this thing that I was constantly battling. Like every time I had to fill out a form and check a box of like what race I was like, what is this thing called race? I always checked other, and I wrote in my nationality. I'd write in Ugandan, German, Moldavian, because I didn't understand how to identify myself in these like 4 or 5 boxes. It didn't make sense to me. Yet there was so much division here, and things were systematically also set in place to keep us divided. I'm like, don't you know we're actually one race, the human race? Don't you know we're all the same? Don't you know we all come from the same place? So that passion and that higher level of understanding is where Naya Zuri came from, because her and the twins are going back to ancient historical civilizations. And they're meeting kids from those timelines, and they're helping them problem solve and become solution-based and believe in themselves, and understandably, to believe in themselves to move through whatever that roadblock is. I don't want to give away too much of the premise of each book. Yeah. You got to get into it. So I said I have so many adult readers because they're also learning about themselves. They're learning rich cultural understandings and traditions, and they're learning things that I didn't even see in a single textbook here. I got excited when we would go and my teacher would say, oh, this week we're going to talk about, ancient Rome. And then this week we're going to talk about the Native Americans. And then this week we'll talk about the ancient Egyptians. And yet for some reason, every time it came back to like melanated cultures, it was very diluted and it was very distorted. So I would actually get in trouble and get sent to the principal's office, because by now I can speak English and I'm in middle school like, excuse me, Miss Robinson, that's not true. Or excuse me, you're off. That's actually not all the information. And I'm giving them facts. And some teachers loved it and some teachers did not love it because it's not going with the curriculum. And I'm like, well, I'm going to change the curriculums. I'm not just going to create these books. I've created over 100 curriculums for schools across, over 300 schools across the country to teach children about themselves, and not just in a historical way, but also to give them the tools and understandings creatively of what they can do, whether it's creative writing, whether it's music production, whether it's financial literacy, because we need all this information. I've been shoveling for a while now, Mike. And I really realized at a young age that, man, they've been burying all this information over here. Like, how does everyone not know that these are these are the truths of life? Or how do they not know that they have the possibility to enter into these different programs that could fundamentally change their lives? Like, why is everything so hidden? So that's really the understanding of Zuri, to become purposeful and to also expose where all the equity is and give everyone upfront all of the resources and information of how they can attain all this for themselves.
Throughout your entire entrepreneurial career, what's been one of the most rewarding moments? Because I feel like you've had a couple. You know what I mean?
I've had a lot, praise God.
You know what I mean? And what an incredible thing to, be able to have. But I'm just curious too, because as I hear you talk, it's just like, you're just so well accomplished. You've done a lot. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I'd be curious what those moments look like to you. What do you consider some of your best rewarding moments?
Let's see. Back in 2020, shout out to June Archer, one of my mentors. I was awarded with the 2020 100 Women of Color Award, and I was actually selected to be the valedictorian. Now, this is during the time of COVID, so we couldn't have it at the Bushnell Theater in Hartford. We actually had to have it in Simsbury. It was the Simsbury Performing Arts and Theater, I believe, outdoor arena. And I was the only woman that was allowed to come on stage and give a speech. Now, the award, completely honored to be recognized. At the time, I had just left corporate America. 2 weeks later, I received the award. And here we are outside, yet the most meaningful moment actually wasn't when I was on stage, firing the women up, letting them know that all of their flames are powerful, but together, us women, we could become a wildfire, for real. And I hope you all haven't forgotten that 5 years later. It was actually a private moment in the parking lot on my way out. There was a young girl at about 3 years old that came up to me. She's like, "Can I see your award? Wow, are you happy?" And I bent down. I tried to actually give it to her, but her mother took it back and gave it to me. And she's like, "Are you happy? Congratulations, you did it." It was like I was staring at the younger version of myself, for this young girl to be able to see that I created something out of nothing, just out of a sheer vision that I was given from finally answering that phone call to make an impact, to show all young girls and all young boys that they can attain any level that they want. I was bawling. In the parking lot. I think one person may have snapped a picture, but it wasn't for the cameras. It was for me, right? So those are the meaningful moments that stick with me to this day.
Yeah, and it shows you not only what is possible for yourself, but, it just shows the impact that you're making, and there's a lot of people that probably look to you and just be like, well, she's able to do it, maybe I can too.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing. Representation is so important. I didn't have anyone that looked like me or sounded like me. None of my teachers looked like me or sounded like me in my entire life. And then the examples of women that did look like me, they had a lot of trauma in their lives. They were really stuck at certain points of their life. I didn't see them conquering and healing themselves to then allow themselves to claim that next level, whatever it is. We're all alive, Mike, okay? We all have a claim over our lives, but there's a lot of people just sleepwalking. They're allowing life to kind of go by them. You are entitled to your life. You gotta utilize this thing.
No, I understand that 1,000. I have a lot of friends too that are kind of just floating through.
Yeah.
And I'm always pushing them. And it's funny because you obviously grow up, you have your friends and, and then at a certain point you kind of split off, and they're still my friends and I still love them.
Of
but
course.
I'm just like, yo, guys, you're capable of so much more, than what you're doing right now. You know what I mean? So it's and it's not to knock their, if they're happy in their lives, then so
Right.
be it. Who am I to, but seeing some of what I know their potential could be,
That's the thing.
That's when I know my friend is an incredible artist and he's not applying that, I'm like, dude, it's how are you this great at what you do and not just
Exactly. It's stop sleeping on yourself.
You can't sleep on yourself.
It burns me too, because I have such a bright light and I love magnifying other people. I love spotlighting and magnifying their light. Like, man, I have the same superpower. I can see the potential in all people. I've just had to focus that on the youth. That way I don't get taken advantage of, because that's something that unfortunately has occurred throughout my life. Yet when people are there and they just need that assistance, it's like, oh, it's not that I need help me, please. No, it's like, okay, I'm here, I'm helping myself, I'm putting the work in. I just kind of need some guidance, or I don't kind of know where to go or what to do next. Like, oh, let me put you in touch with this person, let me put you in touch with that person, let me open the door here. No one opened the door for me. No one opened the door for you. I've ripped the door off. Like, I ripped them hinges off and I claimed the space. Like, I belong in this room. I belong in this space. This is mine. Give me that, you know?
Do you feel that you're sometimes able to see for other people where they should be at better than yourself sometimes?
Well, I meditate a lot and I'm constantly in like a state of prayer. So I don't know what I don't know yet. I feel that I'm in a great alignment with the universe. So I feel that I'm carrying out the work and I'm carrying out the assignments I'm supposed to. Yet I feel that I also have a responsibility to let people know who they are. And if they are sleeping on themselves, like, listen, I can see the potential in you, Mike. I can see the potential. Don't worry about your hair. It's like in perfect condition. You know what I mean? You're good. You're good. You're comfortable. And I can see everything that you can see. And that's why it's also important of who you surround yourself with, because you can't see yourself. You can't observe yourself. You really should be able to lean on those around you to let you know if you're kind of slipping, if you're kind of off.
It's
to
so
hold you
important.
accountable. Like, yo, bro, didn't you say you were going to do this thing 3 months ago? Whatever happened with that? Yes, those are the people you need around you.
You definitely do. I for that reason, I have very few close friends, but the ones that I have, like, they're
solid.
the first ones to call me out. And it's like, and being busy, being like things slip through the cracks sometimes. It had you know what I mean? And I find that most of the times I get in trouble with like people, it's like never am I maliciously doing something. You know what I mean?
Listen, I had to blow you up like 20 times just to get in this chair. Okay.
You're not the only one. But it's like, I don't like, sometimes it all leads back to me. Like, I just need to be more organized. You know what I mean? That's like where for me it comes to. And, the lack of, and it's not to say I'm terrible at organization. It's just, there's a lot of moving parts I'm trying to figure out. And
you have an enterprise.
And sometimes you don't realize the attention that things need.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, for example, we talked about it briefly, but I'm doing this boxing fight on Friday.
Hey.
I thought I'd be able to just go to train and be, and be good. It'd take a couple hours of my day. It has mentally taken 24 hours of my day, especially this week. I'm like, leading up to it. So it's like sometimes, I guess for me, I underestimate like how much time certain things need. And then that ends up getting me in trouble because then the time I had to allocate it for other things, I'm like,
right. It's falling by the wayside.
Yeah.
But that's also, not every creative can also put that business administrative hat on. And that's when you do need that team. That's where you can, trusted people, even if they're not on payroll, that you can delegate to. But sometimes that's not the option. I do everything because that's not really an option, right? Like,
that's kind of where I'm at.
You've got to do it to this level or above. Otherwise, I might as well do it myself, like respectfully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to be on like Zoom calls for 6 hours a day and then to like sit down and finish producing a song or designing a flyer or, sitting down and doing some writing or whatever the case is, not everyone can do both. So take it easy on yourself. Okay, give yourself some grace is definitely a truth and just something I want to leave with you. Give yourself some grace because it is a lot on our plate, yet don't forget that you're built for this. And not everybody is built at this high capacity.
Yeah, no, that's another thing too, where it's like, and maybe you could speak on this, but it's like, I've tried to like hire people to help, but
how's that gone?
It's been tricky because and I'll never expect anyone's heart to be in it the way that mine is.
Of
you
course.
know what I mean? Especially for like my goals and my visions. Mm-hmm. But it's hard because it's like, there's some people that have absolutely crushed it for me, 1,000%. And they're my people I lean on all the time. But like, I think a part of it personally, like, I don't even think it lands on them. I think a part of it just lands on me just being like, they step into my universe and they're like, what the heck is going on over here? Like moving a million.
Right. This is what the inside of your mind looks like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But it's been crazy, but how do you like organize and like manage everything and balance everything? I know you're a mother, you're doing a million things. You're making books, you're making the trailer for your book, you're making songs for the books, you're in every interview I see in the world.
Yeah,
like
I run media. I do a lot.
Everything. That's what I'm saying. So like, how do you Like, what's your secret to balancing
So
everything?
for me, I'm very visual. So I have a huge whiteboard where I write my monthly outcomes, because outcomes what you put in. And it keeps me focused on the higher level, right? The big eagle eye picture of my buckets, like Zuri Books, Zuri Studios, community impact, all of my events. So I know how to keep things in mind. And I'm breaking it down on a monthly and on a quarterly basis. And then I used to put it in a journal, but now I do it in my phone because I don't always have the capacity to like have my backpack with me. I'm probably the only woman. Like I always have a backpack.
I'm a big
I don't have one of those like,
too.
this is my Louis V. I'm like, here's my backpack. You know what I mean? I've got my condenser in here. I've got a whole like producer pack in here. I've got books. I've got Sharpies. I've got, change of shoes, makeup bag, everything in there. Yet I write it all on my phone too. So then I take my monthly outcomes and I break it down into weekly deliverables, and I hold myself accountable and I prioritize them. So if like I complete all the priority items, anything that kind of falls lower on the list, I'm rolling it over to the following week. Some people are like, oh, how did you get all this done? I'm like, I open up my book or open my phone. I'm like, this is how I got it done. It's from being intentional every day. It's from being purposeful. I make sure that I'm not wasting a single moment of my life, including being a mother, by the way, right? I carve out time for my kids because they're my number one. They are my greatest accomplishment. They're the ones who have seen me grow so much in the past 5 to 10 years, right? Shout out to my sons, Judah and Osiris. Shout out to my sons. They're at home. Actually, there's no school today, so it works out.
Lucky them. Yeah.
They
Lucky
live in
them.
life, eating Halloween candy. And
Yeah, I miss those
Roblox.
days.
Yeah,
Yep. But I want to ask you a little bit about the music industry, because you talked on that and how you made your exit, because that's currently, that's how I make my living. You know what I
Yes.
mean? A lot of people ask like how I make my living through my music industry stuff, and my community efforts, like I don't make money on those. Those are
Of course, that's your time.
That's like I do. So it's like, it's kind of a miss, but it's funny because I got more well known for my community efforts
Of course.
this year. And, I just think there's like a misconception there where it's like, but pulling into the music industry, what made you want to leave? Like, and you said like, we talked about integrity because
Yes.
listen, I know how the music industry can be. And I know how the music industry can be as a man. I can imagine the music industry being different as a woman.
Absolutely. So I ran into a situation and I was put in a compromising position. And as I said, integrity is a non-negotiable for me. And I basically said, listen, you can keep everything. You can keep my publishing. I just want to be let go. And I realized it was sort of a heartbreaking moment for me because I dedicated my entire life to music. And I wanted to get my parents out the projects, you know what I mean? And I did take some of that advance and actually get my parents out the projects, and we moved to Glenbrook. So it was very heartbreaking. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I was really an indie artist before indie artist was a thing. So when I left there, I said, well, I have all these songs. I just want to put them out now. I'm free. I'm independent. Let me just put this music out. At the time, I didn't know how to produce, yet I'm a composer, right? I'm a musician. And I said, I'm just going to take acoustically what I can. I'm going to go in a little hole-in-the-wall studio in Stamford right downtown, and I'm just going to pay for the engineer to just push start and stop, and I'm just going to put something together and put it out there. And I released an album back in 2007, and people are like, oh, how are you on MySpace and iTunes at the same time? Like, and you're independent, you're not signed? Nobody does that. I was one of the first to do that, right? So when I left that, and then, as I said, I moved forward. I did a small like East Coast tour. Shout out to my brother Enoch. He was my booking agent at the time. We did our thing. I got a lot of press. We did a lot of, TV interviews. We did a lot of venues, everything from like hole-in-the-wall places like Pianos in New York to like SOBs to like Hammerstein Ballroom. I did a lot. And something just shifted in me. And I realized that I also needed the resources to really be able to take what I was saying to the next level, because all my music is positive. As you can hear in the soundtrack, everything is positive. It's filled with positive affirmations. It's filled to really move the soul and help people heal and, move forward in their life and feel empowered. And I didn't have it. So I took a step back. And as I started my family and I moved forward, I never stopped playing music. I never stopped writing. And I realize now, looking back at it, everything didn't happen to me. It happened for me. And that was really the fuel that I needed, because when Zuri was going, and then I had that crazy idea to create an animated short film, because I'm creating a 12 episodic series. And that's what I'm really pitching to networks right now. So the film started off as just a teaser, a little black and white teaser, which if you watch the film, I put a little snippet of the animatic at the end. That's all I had 5 years ago. I chose to take it a step higher. And then I chose to heal from just the nonsense that happened to me when I was in the industry. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna come back because I'm actually a full-fledged producer now. And shout out to all my women producers because we're not that common, but we out here. And I said, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna create the soundtrack for the film. I'm here. I'm empowering the youth. I'm empowering people. People are like pulling over on the side of the road, having transformational moments. You're mentioning this is our day. When you listen to the words, I'm really reconditioning your mind. This is our day. No one can stop your level. Step up and take your place. What? Who talks like that? And all the frequencies I have that are in there too, like, man, this is hitting. What's going on? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Like, I'm not even worried that my light bill is overdue or that I'm going to a job that I don't like. You know what? Let me just clean myself up. Let me straighten myself up and make myself presentable in this world because I'm coming after everything that belongs to me.
Yeah, and as I hear you talk too, like, there's one thing that I feel that I've gained from the music industry, and maybe you could speak to this too. You get this level of like resilience because there's so much, for lack of a better term, BS, facades, you know what I mean? Like, you probably are better in your everyday life kind of seeing through, people that maybe all talk, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of talkers. But I realize the people that are talking, they're not actually saying much. Usually the most powerful people in the rooms are the ones who are not speaking as much or as frequently, yet when they speak, trust me, I'm hanging on to every single word you're saying because you're usually sharing some gems, spitting some game, or you're being very intentional with what you're saying.
Yeah, and most of the time, those people, if you look at them, a lot of time their actions speak for them where they don't even need to talk. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's so-and-so, like that's the person that did this, this, and that. You know what I mean?
And they have a presence about them.
Yeah.
And normally for me, the ones that are most meaningful, because I'm constantly working with artists and meeting just dope people. I run a show for DigiWax called New Music Wednesdays down in New York in the city every Wednesday. So I'm constantly in contact with different artists and great business guests and just, influencers and people that are making moves that have been doing so much impact 20, 30 years, or even newer up-and-comers. Yeah, the ones that are more impactful to me, our conversations, are the ones that are very humble. They're very humble. They understand that we're all people, right? Mike Squires is Mike. Nyakana, I'm Anna, right? We are people, right? You're my brother, I'm your sister. Like, we should be here for each other. And I just want to see you win. Like, I think I was saying this to someone the other day. Like, it's great for us to win. Yeah, you know what does it for me? For us to win together. That's what does it for me. Because there's more than enough room at this table.
Yeah, and I can attest to that too, because I'll say the flip side, winning alone, not fun.
It's not fun.
It's boring. There's nobody there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I've had those moments, and like, even early on in my career when I was like learning that, you know, I definitely had a moment where something cool happened, but then I had nobody to talk to it about because no one experienced it with me. So that was something I learned very early on. I was like, any opportunity, like, and it wasn't because it's just that's how the cards fell. You know what I mean? It's not like there was like any decision made on that. But with that being said, since that moment, I was like, let me just try to do everything with my friends as much as I can. So then this way we can be like, remember that time, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, those memories and those experiences, like, I like being able to laugh about them with my friends, you know what I mean? But like, I think of this one instance where I went to Ukraine and I just was on the plane, and it was a good experience there, but I was just by myself, you know what I mean? So it's like, it was cool. But like when when you tell...
It's lonely, and they say it's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
And there are different levels at the top. I think that's a misconception too. People are like, oh, it's lonely at the top. People think there's just one level of success. There are multiple. There's an endless level of success. It's like they're just peaks. Right? It's like one peak of a mountain. Then when you get to that level, you see, oh, I can see even further now. There's even a broader mountain range. Let me go over there and see what's happening over there. Then you're climbing up and you make it to that peak. Then you're like, oh, there's a mountain range over there in that distance. If I can climb all this elevation, that means I can climb another, 300 meters in this elevation. Let me go attain that. It's just levels.
Yeah.
It's all different levels.
It is very true.
When you make it to one, you've made it. You just have to constantly make it. People are like, oh, what's your definition of success? It's not one thing. It's not like I did this one thing, now I'm successful. It's the continuation of daily successes, of completing those outcomes. That is my definition of success. It's the continuation of the climb.
Yeah.
That Nyakana climb.
I was going to say, do you feel like you're always like trying to get to the next rung on the ladder? Like, is there an end goal? Like, what does it look like? What does the top look like for you?
That's a great question. When my life is complete, I'll be able to answer that. So I may have to jump into your dreams
back
from the next lifetime. Yet for me, I don't have an end game. I don't have an end goal. I'm going to continue to raise the bar. There's no ceiling for me, so I just continue to push things further. Traditionally, I'm not supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing as an author. Traditionally, people just wanted to kind of keep me in the box. Oh, that's nice. You write books? Okay, well, that's great. Maybe come to our school. I'm like, I'm not just coming to your school. I'm shutting the school down. I call that a Nyakana takeover. There is no class today, y'all. There is no class. We are in the auditorium. We're outside in the field. Like, I'm taking it bigger and higher and grander, and there is no stopping. When God tells me it's my time, it's my time. I'm here to push every boundary. I'm here to break down every wall. I'm here to go to every stratosphere and every universe outside of ours and continue growing it further, because I know once all that is completed, everyone behind me knows it's attainable for themselves. That's what it's about, like really breaking out of this matrix of being able to navigate your life. We all have the potential, and we all have, once again, that entitlement to our own life. But most of the time, we're giving our entitlement in our life away to others.
I have like somebody brought this up to me once, and because I see a lot of similarities with us, where it's like we always want to get to like that next thing, you want to keep going. But somebody once said to me, and I had to think about it for a little second, they were like, is there anything that's enough for you? And when they said that, I was like, it was like kind of like a compliment, but also like it kind of hit a little deep, because I was like, I don't know if, you know what I mean? I don't know, because I constantly want to keep doing the next thing,
Right,
so it's
pushing
like,
the needle forward.
So, how would you answer that question?
I'm here to save the youth by showing them how to save themselves. There's 8 billion people on this planet. I got a lot of work to do. And this is not my first time here, y'all. So I'm going to continue to return and continue to do this work century after century, millennia after millennia. You may see me in different forms, yet just know it's me. You're going to feel my energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, no.
And I have a sense of urgency.
Yeah, no, and I get that from talking to you too.
Yeah.
And like, why is youth activism so important to you?
The youth are the seed of the world. We come into this world so pure, so innocent, so filled with life and hope, and like the outside world just kind of starts beating us down and once again putting limitations on us and conditioning us to believe the lie. They're like, here, drink this Kool-Aid. And then you're like 3 cups in, you're like, wait a minute, I'm feeling kind of funny. And then you're just kind of becoming a number in the system and going through life and forgetting who it is that you uniquely are and what you have a claim over in this world. So for me, the youth are everything. I was always a youth activist. I was a youth humanitarian. So I saw a lot at a very young age. There were some kids when I was at this orphanage in Nairobi, and after our week's time with them, they actually had passed away at the end of that week, and we had to bury them in the cemetery there at the orphanage. We were the same age. We were all born in '86. And I remember I was 15 years old. I swore on their grave that all the things that we were talking about that week, all the songs that we sang, all the dreams, because even though they know that they had a timeline on their life, like they were not going to live long, we were all talking about the things that we wanted to accomplish in our life and how we wanted to impact the world to make it better and the things we wanted to do. So I just made a declaration that I was going to continue that work for them, for me, for all of us. And it's moments like that have never left me. My fire, I have a very bright light, and people are like, oh, the sun is so bright. Anna, you're so bright. You have such great energy. You feel so warm. I'm like, yeah. You don't get it confused. The sun is bright, yet the sun is a fire burning ball in the sky, and I got a inextinguishable flame. So I pull from that flame. And it's moments like that have kept, kind of like a petrol, right? It's like pouring gasoline on that flame and just kept it alive and burning in my spirit. And that is why I'm intentional every day. There's a lot that I have to do. There's a lot that I've been given, but I'm God's teacher's pet. So I'm first student in the front row raising my hand because I'm here for this work and it's going to get completed.
Yeah. How does a moment like that change your perspective on life?
Like I said, I'm 39 years old today, and it has stayed with me from 15 years old to this day. I've never lost sight of any life that I've been connected to, any impact that I made, any connection that I've had with another human soul. It's never left me. I think about it constantly. I think about their faces constantly. I think about them constantly. And it may seem strange, like, oh, you only spent a week with them. This is not an American week, okay? This is a week of real time, of staring into the soul of another teenager. And you guys are talking about all the things that you want to accomplish in life. And they know they maybe have a few months to live, yet they're still dreaming. They're still daring to dream, like their soul hasn't been diminished, although their body is decaying. If they can still keep that alive, why can't I? I have my health. I have my health of mind. I have my health of spirit. Like, why would I stop or limit myself from attaining that? I have no excuse. No excuse. So I just took up the charge. It's like they just gave me their dreams and I just added it to my own. Like I just quilted it. I just knitted it into the own fabric of my purpose and what I'm here to do.
Yeah. And, kind of just on the conversation of mortality too, and you've been through something that I consider one of my greatest fears. You got into a car accident.
You did your research.
Yeah, no, I care. And, just talking on that a little bit, because one thing that I think people don't think about too much is how quickly life can change, and being able to adapt and really, and this is why I personally think it's so important that you chase that dream, you go for those goals, because
for real.
You just don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
You think you know, but I promise you don't, just from life experience.
Absolutely.
What was the big takeaway, the perspective change after that happened?
Oh, so at that point in my life, I had just left corporate America. It was the winter of 2020. I was feeling on top of the world, yet that superpower I was telling you about, it was being used in the worst of ways. I was being used by individuals for my talents and my creative abilities because I can do everything. And because I believe so much in others, I was giving a lot of this free time that I now was supposed to have for myself to build Zuri, to help others, not assist, but to help, to really do all the heavy pulling, all the heavy lifting, laying everything out. So I was coming back from the studio. It was 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning from Brooklyn, coming all the way back to Farmington, Connecticut. And there was a weird patch of black ice, and a tractor trailer swerved on that black patch. And the trailer part came back and just nicked me. And I just went into a spin.
Do you remember what you were thinking in that moment?
I was thinking, oh my God, this is my life. I remember, it was flashing before me. And when the car finally hit the divider on the edge of the highway, I couldn't open my door. I was pinned. And the tractor trailer behind me, the brakes had locked, and I could hear it. I couldn't see it, but I could hear it. It was trying to stop, but it couldn't. It was coming back to hit me, but I couldn't get out. I tried to get out the passenger door, but it was pinned against the concrete divider. I couldn't get out. I had to really make a clear choice, and my seatbelt was locked. I had to make a really fast choice. Am I going to choose life? Is this my time? Or am I going to choose life? And I actually had a knife in my car that had a seatbelt cutter on the other end. I sliced the seatbelt off. I went to the passenger side. I don't know how. I'm a full-figured woman. I somehow squeezed, it was barely 12 inches of space. I don't know how I creaked through. But just when I creaked through, that tractor trailer came and hit my car for the second or third time. I think it hit twice. Yeah, it hit twice before and then the third time. Just like that. And it was done. It was.
You were out the car or in the car?
I was out the car.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I literally had 30 seconds to figure it out and to claim life. I have 2 babies waiting for me at home with a babysitter. I'm like, what am I doing? It was a very awakening moment. Why am I even out this late for something that is not even my own? Why am I putting my life in jeopardy? I was supposed to leave. The session was supposed to be done at 11 o'clock. Why am I coming home at 5 in the morning? This isn't even my project, right? Oh, but we need this, we need that, we need somebody to come out, right? And I was producing, so they're like, oh, well, we need your assistance with this, we need that. Oh, we need to lay some vocals on. Come on now. Because I believe in you.
Yeah.
You gotta have You got to have your non-negotiable. Like safety is a non-negotiable for me. Integrity is a non-negotiable for me. But you really need to also protect your space and protect your time and not give too much of yourself. Like people, they're like, wow, well, your cup is, there's two different kinds of people. There are the people that look in your cup to see how much you have left. And then there are people that look in your cup to see how much you need. I'm the one who looks in your cup to see how much you need because I'm constantly pouring into others. Right? But I had too many people around me at the time that were looking in my cup to see how much I had left so they could take it.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned from that moment. And I claimed my life. And the very next day, that's when I got a call from Connecticut magazine that I was chosen as a top 40 under 40 and that I was going to be placed on the cover of the magazine. First Black woman on the cover of the
I want to talk about that. That was in my notes. I want to talk about that too. That's a good transition.
So praise God.
Yeah, and I just I'm still a little bit on the, the accent too, because it's like,
oh, man.
There, and this kind of goes to your point earlier. It's like, you can either take life in your hands, which you literally did, or you can let it happen to you.
Yep.
30 seconds later, we don't even need to talk about
right?
it. You know what I mean? So,
and I wasn't even drinking. Imagine if I was under the influence. I would have been slow motion. I wouldn't have been able to, think clearly. Would I have even been able to act as quickly? My children would have been orphans. What would their lives have turned out to be?
It would have been tough.
Come on.
Yeah. Let's bring it to the Connecticut magazine. I'm going to pull this to the end zone, but let's end on a happier note.
So the very next day, I got a call at 11 o'clock in the morning, and they're like, "Hi, we're here to let you know you've been chosen as Connecticut's top 40 under 40. We've been watching what you've been doing." And we were just talking about how people don't understand the funds and the money that you make from your craft, but then also your community impact. At this point, I had only done volunteer work. These schools haven't been paying me. I've been going and volunteering. And at first, the schools that did have the budget didn't even invite me in. They wouldn't even buy the books. They wouldn't invite me in to even come speak to the kids or to run a curriculum. So I went to the schools that nobody cared about. I went to all the schools in the projects in the hood. I was in the gutter. I'm at Hartford, East Hartford. I'm going into schools that people don't care about because those were the kind of schools that I went to at the time. No one cared about us. We never had a special guest. The special guest was a substitute. That was a fun day when the sub came in. You didn't have any work. They would probably put a movie on, right? That was a special guest. So at this point, I'm well, you believe that I've attained enough to receive this honor and you're going to put me on the cover? The first Black woman on the cover of Connecticut magazine? The same magazine that was in my dentist's office, that was in the principal's office, because I was being sent there for raising my hand too much, correcting the teacher. I'm someone that looks like me, I'm on the cover. And I'm representing Stanford. I'm what? This is incredible. Just another ceiling broken. Another chance to represent for all my young girls and all my kids that came from where I came from, to show them the possibility of what you can attain. I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, is what some people say, because of how they knew me as a younger child. Yet from those that saw the potential in me, they're like, yo, she's going beyond everything I even ever thought she would be. Keep going. Keep going.
I love hearing you talk too, because there's one thing about podcasting that I've learned is that anytime that I leave this chair, I got a good feel on who the person across from me is. You know what I mean? Because I don't think you can sit here I don't think anybody can sit here for an hour and not be who they are, or you know what I mean? So no, it's been really nice having you here.
Thank you.
The last question I'm going to ask you, though.
We're down to the wire. Okay.
I ask everybody, what's your message to the world? If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Zuri. Beautiful purpose. Be purposeful in your life. Be intentional in your life. Claim your life. Claim the space. Get activated. It's time to wake up, y'all. It is time to wake up. You can be anything that you want to be, but not just from keeping it in your mind. You've got to put it into action on a daily basis. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, right? Contributing to society, making sure that you're looking at the bigger picture, because guess what? It's not just about me, and it's not just about Mike. It's not even just about you. It's about us. It's about we. What are we going to be known for at the end of our days? What impact are we going to leave for the generation that follows us? Be purposeful. And shout out to the Nyakana Nation. Let's go. Shout out to the nation, Mike.
Let's
Welcome.
go. Thank you.
You're officially a part of the Nyakana Nation.
Let's
you know
go.
that, right?
I'm excited.
Come on,
Yeah. What do you got coming up for you, though, too? I want to know.
Woo. Well, as you know, the world of Nyakana, I just dropped the animated short film. Well, it's taking off right now. So I'm busy pitching that to networks to build the cartoon series. So now I'm going to be building that bridge between school and home. What? That's fire. And I'm going to be producing all the music for it and just aligning with dope producers and bringing them on board. The soundtrack is out. The third book in the Nyakana series. Should I give the exclusive drop right now?
That's up to you.
It drops next month.
Let's go.
I wrote that during my season of pause that we were talking about, before we started filming. Officially, next month, December 2025, before the holidays, the third book in the Nyakana series is going to drop, Zuri and the Galactic Quest. We're going into the future,
I was gonna
y'all.
say, we're going to space.
We're going to the future. This is some Star Trek on some next level understanding, because that's really what it is. It gives us an understanding that we are a human race. So now let's all, gather our resources together. Let's solve the problems of Earth, and let's continue to broaden that as we explore the universe and as we, The thing about Zuri and the Galactic Quest that's so powerful and that differentiates it from the first two, not only do they accidentally go to the future and they're kind of hiding and ducking from their future selves, it shows the potential of where humanity can be 10, 20 years from now. We could truly have peace on Earth. That doesn't have to be something that's sung in a Christmas carol. That is a reality. And when I see you, I see the potential of that reality. When I see like-minded individuals, I call us light workers. We're here to make that impact. I see that as a possible reality. Yeah, it's going to take all of us to band together to do it.
Things can change quick, but as quick as you want them to change. You just got to lock in and get it done.
Exactly. And then there's a whole bunch of other top secret stuff going on in 2026. I will be on tour again, so there's just a lot happening. Make sure to catch up with me. Stay in touch with me.
Yeah, how can people find you?
You can find me all social media platforms at Zuri, NIYAH_Zuri, ZURI. You can check my website, www.annanyakana.com. Get your books. And I personalize those books when you get them from me versus like Amazon, or if you go to Barnes & Noble and order it. I actually write the child's name in every book, and I write them a personal message.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing.
Especially for kids that aren't readers. When you see your name in a book, you're like, wait a minute, there's something in here for me. There's something in here just for me. She wrote my name in here. Let me keep reading. Let me see what happens as I turn these pages. And 9 times out of 10, they end up finding themselves.
No, it's a beautiful thing,
fire.
too. Yeah, because it's just that extra care, that extra detail. And I think people underestimate how things like that go a long way.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mike, it's been an honor.
Anna, thank you for coming on the pod.
I'm proud of you. I've got to pour into you before I leave, because I know you're not looking into my cup to see what I have left. I know you're looking to see what you can give.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing what you're doing and taking the resources and taking all of your abilities and not just keeping it for yourself, but giving it to others and leaving an impact. These youth need you, we need you, and I need you to stay your course.
Thank you. I'm going to do the best that I can, and that's all I can promise everybody.
And we're connected now, so look out for us.
I'm excited. Well, thank you for coming on the pod, and I'm sure we're going to get into our next shenanigans soon.
Oh, yeah, there'll be a part 2 coming.